Okay, I think we are back, but we are in a different live stream, so I think I've lost everybody from before. Yeah, there's like nobody else joined now. Oh no, what happened? 2.0, yay, Prussian Blues back. Benjamin, yay, yay, some people are joining again. I had to create a brand new stream. I'm so sorry. Can you hear me? We can hear you, thank you. I have no idea what happened. My headphones just glitched. I took them off and they decided to give up. It's like, guys, I didn't end the stream yet. We are back. Oh, thank goodness some people are joining again. Thank you so much. I had to create a brand new stream. It wouldn't let me continue from the old one. Oh, yay, people are rejoining. Oh, phew. Thank you. We are back, Rushy. I think we are. Yay, Sarah's back as well. Thank you. I'm glad I haven't lost you. I was worried I'd lose you all. Yay. Yay, Cooney's back. Like the undead, we are so back. Oh, I'm so happy you all came back. Yay. Okay, I don't know what happened there. I have no idea. Be content. Wow, a song of rice and fire. I like that. A song of rice and fire. We should make that into a book. Yeah, so it looks like this live stream then, after it's gone onto my channel, will have two videos. Because I had to create a brand new stream. So that's annoying. Lee of the Red Keep, hey, you're back. You're back as well. Thank you so much for coming back, people. Was it worth the exercise of going up to the window and opening it? Probably not. I don't know why my headphones gave up on me. They honestly, they called the shots here. What were we even talking about? We was talking about the child discussion. Yeah, YouTube really doesn't like us talking about that stuff. Either way, it was emotional. One of the most emotional chapters in a book I've ever read. Were there any other parts of this book that people particularly enjoyed? Oh, I need to catch my breath. Honestly, guys, that was stressful. First world problems, am I right? My monthly book club didn't work. Oh no. Tid Cooney, I loved it. I loved when it would explore some lore. Yes, me too. I really particularly liked the backstory. And actually, one of my favorite parts was there was a big long chapter, probably about 80% of the way through, kind of towards the end, where it showed Abner Marsh's life within a 13-year time period from when the showdown happened on the Fever Dream. Actually, they'd changed the name of it at that point to some kind of poetry phrase, and then it showed him aging, and then Joshua York getting back in touch with him again. I particularly enjoyed that. There was a section where they are talking about legends of the river. Yeah, that was really cool. It reminded me of all of those hinted at legends of the Wall and the Night's Watch. Yeah, that was very, very cool. Sorry, guys, I am melting in this room. But yes, I loved the backstory, the history, the lore. And that's consistent with A Song of Ice and Fire as well. That was one of my favorite parts of A Song of Ice and Fire. And I was so glad to see that George R.R. Martin had that little quirk in Fever Dream as well, was that backstory. Sarah likes the history of the creation of the vampires. Yeah, I really liked that as well. That was cool. Oh, thank you, Smalty, for coming back and for answering my question from the previous stream. It is a nice job, thanks. Better than what I've done before, which was retail and a restaurant. At least I can have headphones in for this. Yeah, I admire you for working in retail and restaurant, like any hospitality job. I've done the retail side of things before. It's hard, but I'm glad that you're in a job that's pretty decent for you now. And it's nice that you can listen to audiobooks as well. That's always good. You opened a window. I have opened a window. It hasn't made any difference right now, although I don't think I can hear the fan noise anymore. Oh, maybe it's worked. Oh no, that is still quite hot. Okay. But yes, the window is open and the door is as well. The primordial history of the vampires was interesting, how their coexistence with early humans changed over time. Yes, honestly, there was so much history to this book. It was incredible. I really liked it. the vampire history made me think of the others too. Yeah, there's quite a lot of similarities between this and A Song of Ice and Fire, really, isn't there? You can definitely see, because I know that this was before A Song of Ice and Fire, but you can definitely see how George takes like ideas and puts them onto the page. He does it in like a very similar way. With George being a gardener with his writing process, if there are seeds of A Song of Ice and Fire here. Yeah, and then he just kind of lets it grow and just lets it go where he wants to go. Excellent carrot cake. Nice to see you here again. How are you? Hi everyone. Happy Saturday. Hope everyone's having a lovely weekend. That is such a kind message. I hope that you're having a lovely weekend as well. Hope you're well. Let me know how you're doing. Haven't read any George R. R. Martin apart from A Song of Ice and Fire, so I was thinking of this next. Yeah, same. That's exactly why we picked this for the book club, because I don't know about you guys, but I hadn't read anything other than A Song of Ice and Fire. Obviously, Fire and Blood and Night of Seven Kingdoms as well, but nothing non A Song of Ice and Fire related. So this was a very, very pleasant like change, but it was very classic George R. R. Martin. So yeah, I think we can all agree we would highly recommend you read this book, or the audiobook. Damon was a great villain. York nailed it. So ancient that he's not truly evil anymore, just completely empty and mad. Yeah, he was a very intriguing character. Nothing could have made him more terrifying. Yeah, there was also like a little bit of mystery and intrigue, because there was a part of the book where it was speculating over whether or not he's a good guy or a bad guy, and I suppose he's kind of like morally grey. I don't think he fits into good or bad, but he was a great character. He was definitely my favourite. We want a slice of your cake then. Yeah, every time I see that username, it really does make me want to eat some carrot cake. I love carrot cake. Let me know what your favourite type of cake is. You mean like Roose Bolton being a vampire? There's some inspiration for Roose Bolton being a vampire in this book, that's for sure. Are any of George's other works worth reading if anybody has read them? That is a very great question. Armageddon Rag is fantastic too. Awesome. This is going to sound awful, and this is probably one of the things that George R. R. Martin hates, but I actually don't know what other books George R. R. Martin has written. I'm sure there's probably loads. And that's probably why he's very, very annoyed that anybody only ever knows him for A Song of Ice and Fire. But yeah, I don't actually know the name of any other works by him, I don't think. So yeah, if anybody else has got some recommendations, that would be awesome. Hello, Terry. How are you doing? Nice to see you here again. Thanks, as always, for your support. How's your Saturday treating you? Hope you're well. What other questions do I normally ask in a book club? What did you guys think to the pacing of the storyline? I personally thought it was pretty consistently paced. The whole story had in-depth description in every single chapter, which meant that the whole thing felt like it kind of had like a balanced pace, because there was like appropriate description and action within each chapter, in my opinion. He worked a lot in TV in the 80s. Oh, so I wonder, I mean, this won't be his debut novel, will it? Was this his debut? Was this like his first? I need to do my research on these things before I put them in the book club poll. Loved the pacing. Loved the lot, to be honest. I would put it down to sleep and usually have to pick it up again after a restless hour. Yeah, honestly, it was such a pleasant surprise. Do you know what? A strong statement. This might be my favourite book that we've done in a book club so far this year. What have we done? We've done Lies of Loch Lamora. We did Dune. What did we do after that? Does anybody else remember what we've done for a book club? Let me just go to my own channel and see. Guys, these things are so scatty and unorganized. I'm actually so happy that we're almost back up to the amount of people that were here before, because I don't know why you guys stick around. Oh, we did Red Rising. Oh, The Blade Itself. Oh, I really liked The Blade Itself. Yeah, I think The Blade Itself is my favorite. Oh yeah, I can see Tid Cooney and Benjamin have put The Blade Itself. Yeah, I forgot that we did that for a book club. I thought I just read that for leisure, but then I remember, obviously we did a live stream on it. Yeah. I mean, my favorite definitely wasn't The Gunslinger, Red Rising, and then Fever Dream. Yeah. Oh yeah, The Blade Itself was my favorite because I genuinely do feel like after reading Before They Are Hanged, which is the second one, then I do believe that Joe Abercrombie probably is going to be up there with beginning to become a favorite author. But this is a close second. Oh, can we talk about Sour Billy? We forgot about that one. You're so right, Sarah. Let's talk about Sour Billy. What were you guys' opinion on him? So for me, he was very frustrating. He was extremely annoying, but in the best way, in the best possible way. There would be times where I'd be like, can we not kill this dude off already? Why did he live for so long? Um, in my opinion. Sour Billy Potterotti. Yeah, I think the thing with him was that he was very delusional. Obviously, yeah, Benjamin, he just wouldn't die, and he should have. Because he was so silly and he kept making very stupid decisions. He was very delusional. He basically treated Damon like God. He looked up to him way more than he should have, and I don't know why he ever thought that Damon was going to respect him. Like, why was Damon going to treat you like his own? To me, it was Samuel Jackson's character from Django Unchained. I have not seen that, but Samuel Jackson is great. um, could we see Sour Billy being Samuel Jackson in this? Joffrey, if he didn't have a crown. That's funny. He was so important to demonstrate the themes of vampire, human, mirroring, free, yeah, slave. Yes, can I say the word slave on YouTube? Yeah, yeah. But anyway, the themes of that in this book, and I actually feel like I learnt a lot about that. Obviously, we're all aware of what happened and the tragedies that happened during that time, but I just feel like this helped to like refresh me or like reinforce me on remembering things from the past that we've moved on from, well, hopefully moved on from. Yeah, it was Sour Billy wouldn't worry about what YouTube allows to say. I need to embody my inner Sour Billy and say the word slave on YouTube. But yes, it was yeah, it was quite harrowing. In fact, there are a lot of themes, particularly towards the start of this book, that were quite like uncomfortable to read. But it's very important that we are all aware of it and that we do all know that that stuff happened. Like, it's very, very important. But it created a lot of discomfort to see the ways that people were treated. But I do think that Sour Billy was a representation of that as well. He's not the typical person that back then they would use as a slave, but to Damon Julian, I feel like he was. Damon Julian didn't care. Any human to him is like an ant. He knows he's superior to everybody, regardless of race, culture, anybody. Becky, breaking the fourth wall here. Take some pics of the paneling before you. Oh, what the hallway? Oh, why can I never point on this thing? There we go. The hallway paneling. Is that what you mean? Giving you a sneak peek to what's outside my office. Yes. Yeah, it's green. Do you like the colour? Why can I never point on this mirror thing? This is so hard. Yeah, look. You guys get a sneak peek as to what's outside of my filming room. It also showed grey characters again. Abner Marsh was a fair man, but states he isn't. Yeah, absolutely. So this is actually one of the things that I love about George R.R. Martin consistently is everybody has flaws. Even Ned Stark had flaws. Like Abner Marsh, lovable, wholesome, but he has flaws. There is never a perfect person, and that is consistent in real life as well. And I just love that George R.R. Martin is so realistic about that. He'll create a character that we all love, we all root for, we all think is fantastic, but he has flaws. And I like that because some books don't do that, and some books just make a perfect character, and then you root for them, but things start to feel very like unrealistic or unbelievable. I like realism. I'm just getting my list of questions up that I normally like to try and ask people, but I closed it in my frenzy earlier. characters, but also recognizing the complexity involved. Yeah. Again, amazing for a 30-year-old writer. Yeah, that's insane. Thank you so much for telling me that because I had no idea that he was that young. But actually, when you think of the maths, duh, like it makes sense. Why did I not just use my brain? But yeah, I can't believe that he wrote something of this complexity and of this detail at that young age. Marsh was very great when it came to slavery. He didn't want to be known as an abolitionist, but he also wanted no part of it. Yeah, he did help Toby as well. Yeah, Toby was a nice character. I did like Toby. Yeah, so he wasn't like for it, but I think he was just like going along with it because that's what people did. Like, and that was what made money in that day and age. And so I think that he was just like, I can't be the one to take the stand against it. And I think that obviously, you know, he in this day and age we encourage people to speak out about those things, but I just don't think he felt like he could, and he was kind of like sitting in the middle, wasn't he? He was a bit like neutral about it. Can I ask what your accent is, by the way? I'm Yorkshire. Yorkshire. I don't know if that comes across so much in my accent actually. Um, Although maybe it does. I'm not as Yorkshire as other Yorkshire people that I live near, but I am born and bred. Yeah, it does. Okay. So I do sound Yorkshire then. I think it's because like I surround myself with people like where around where I live and where I used to live as well, like who are very, very Yorkshire, like 110% Yorkshire. Like they use the slang that we've had for like decades, centuries. Like they are very Yorkshire. I don't use the slang that much. Roughly what I thought, just not sure. Yeah, hopefully that's confirmed it for you. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to this live stream. Sounds strong to me, does it? Okay, I think I've just had a reality check today then. To be fair, I moved like so people class like Yorkshire as north. I moved even norther when a few years ago, and I lived there for a few years, and I lived up near Newcastle. If anybody knows that, Geordies, and they all used to say I was very, very Yorkshire because the Yorkshire and the Geordie accents are very different. Everybody there felt very, very different to me. I was like the only Yorkshire living in Newcastle. Yeah, it was. I felt like I was in a different country. Newcastle's lovely though. Is there anything else that anybody wants to say about this book? I love these live streams because they're so like unstructured and they are just like conversations. I don't get to do this when I just film normal videos because nobody responds to me, other than my rabbit sometimes, and sometimes my tortoise is in here as well when I'm filming. But nobody speaks, so it's nice to have people speak to me. Did that sound a bit like lonely? I love doing it, but it's nice to talk. Yeah, what does anybody else want to talk about in terms of Fever Dream or just anything else in general? I was so happy to see a recommendation from my all-time favorite writer, Harlan Ellison. Oh, who is that? Let me Google. We are here, dear. Thanks, Sarah, and I'm very glad that you are here. American writing. Oh, I love learning new stuff. Have you ever raised your tortoise and rabbit? Do you know what? My tortoise, Jimmy, he would actually be faster than Lupin. Honestly, when we let him loose, he just goes crazy, especially in the hotter months. He gets so active. He thrives off of warm weather. You guys should have seen him today. Maybe I should post him on my community page a bit more, but he was honestly going crazy. Honestly, he loves to burn off the calories. That's all I'm going to say. You have a tortoise. I do have a tortoise. Yes. In the winter, he lives in this office where I am now with his heat lamp on to keep him nice and warm. And in the summer, he likes to go outside because it's nice and sunny and warm for him. Yeah, so sometimes when I'm filming, he'll be in here behind the camera. And you guys will ever know until today. I should show him on my community page a little bit more. This novel has made George R.R. Martin top 3 writer for me now, even more than A Song of Ice and Fire. It honestly really did exceed my expectations. I will still say that I think A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is his best writing. That book, if you guys don't know, is my favourite book to ever exist. I am captivated by this here book. I love it. But this is very, very close in it's a very different vibe. This one's a little bit more I mean, I thought this was a little bit more cozy, like a little bit more light-hearted, heartwarming, settle down on a rainy day vibes, you know, join Dunk and Egg for some adventures, quite funny. Love it. This one is none of that. This is not light-hearted. This is not funny. This is not, an easy read. But if I'm ever in the mood to be creeped out and to for something to inspire thought, like to be thought provoking, this is probably the one I'm going to be leaning to the most. Um, by the way, the show Dunk and Egg is postponed to next year. I know, and I'm so gutted about that because I am looking forward to it. I'm like cautious, but I'm looking forward to it. Um, I was going to react to it on my YouTube channel as well, and now I have to wait even longer to do that. Oh well. These things happen. Storm of Swords is still the GOAT for me. So much happens. Yeah, the plots, the storylines, the action in Storm of Swords is like top tier. That is a very impactful book. And the Red Wedding chapter is one of the two chapters in my entire life that's made me cry because books don't tend to make me cry. The other one was in Assassin's Apprentice, just there. And then obviously Storm of Swords. I'm getting better at this pointing thing, aren't I? Fire and Blood was my favorite to read. The uncertain history tone I really liked. Yeah, Fire and Blood's quite like a mixed bag for people. Some people either love it or hate it. It's like Marmite. I personally enjoyed it. I felt like it was a bit long towards the end. I was thinking, okay, we could kind of shut it off a little bit now. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was incredibly interesting. One more thing I loved for some reason is how they used different woods for fuels. Yeah, cottonwood, beech, lighted pine nuts. Yeah, it really made me feel like he was writing from 1857. That's another thing I was going to say. Thank you so much for reminding me. The way that he writes from a time period he has clearly never been in, but makes it feel like he knows so much about it. That is a strength. Like that is a massive strength. The fact that this really did feel like the 1850s. I mean, I've never been in that time period. I wouldn't know if it was factually accurate, but it felt like it was. And it honestly really did feel like he was writing from that time period. This book actually, when I realized that it was released in the 1980s, I thought actually that's kind of like more sooner, like more recent than I thought, based on how he writes this, if that makes sense. But yeah, I like the detail that he goes into in everything, like with the different woods. And I never thought I'd need to know that stuff, but it was cool. It was interesting. I think that's the thing with George R.R. Martin. He gives you detail on stuff and makes you care about it more than you ever thought you were going to. The show gives you such a strong grip about books by giving you visuals. Yeah, absolutely. I think as well, if you are struggling for visualization, then TV shows are helpful for that. They can kind of set the scene, put those pictures in your mind as well, just to help. Technically, you are reading a Western book. Yes. Don't know if everyone noticed, but the epilogue was a huge time skip. Diesel boat's 100 years of wear on the tombstone. Yes. Oh, yeah, the diesel boat was so sad. Yes, that was kind of like what we were saying earlier with the time period change, because you had that chapter that progressed over like 13 years and it was telling you about the transition, the things that change. And that was at the end as well. Everything has moved on, everything has changed. Obviously, the vampires are still around, Joshua York is still alive. A huge spoiler for the person who hasn't read Fever Dream yet. Ever so sorry. But I mean, he's a vampire, so they don't exactly die of natural causes, do they? But yeah, it was just there was a lot of change, and I think that is quite sad, especially when you know how much Abner Marsh cares for steamboats, and then you see that change in them. Even the fact that they changed the name of the river. It wasn't even called Fever Dream, Fever River at the end of it, was it? They even changed the name of the river. Crazy. The world where hundreds of paddlers would crowd the river is gone. Oh no, it was very poignant after 380 pages spent there. I know, like we spent so much time there with Abner Marsh, and then it just changes like that. It was very, very sad, but very impactful. And it is true, like things do change, things do progress. There'll have been things from the past that lots of people have cared strongly about that now the modern day just don't care for. Yeah, it's quite sad. I felt a bit depressed after reading this book, but in the best way. It's left to your imagination how human and vampire relations changed over time, like York wished. Yeah, if they even did. Yeah, I really enjoyed actually that the ending is kind of left open. Like we kind of got a little bit of a wrap up in terms of the plot and what we wanted to happen, but it also was left open. There were things that weren't answered. And I don't think a book always needs to answer everything. I think it's quite nice sometimes if they do leave it ambiguous and they do leave it open for us to kind of make our own conclusions. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting that this book was going to end with vampires being extinguished. Not a chance. Vampires are probably still around now. Prove to me that they aren't. What's your favorite vampire movie? I don't even think I've really watched that many vampire movies. I'll tell you what that's come to mind that was very good. It's not a movie though. It was on the BBC for the UK. So I don't know. I don't know if you can access the BBC outside of the UK. Sorry if you can't, but it was a Dracula remake. So it was set into multiple different episodes, and so one of the episodes was set like way, way, way in the past, probably before this one was. But then like the most recent episode was set in the modern day, so it was like vampires in modern day and in the future. So it shows like the vampires from different time periods, and that was very, very cool. I thought that they did that really well. So it was like based on Dracula by Bram Stoker, but then they also took their own like flair with it. They also like progressed from where Dracula ends. So that was quite cool. Favorite vampire movie though, I don't think I've watched any others other than Twilight, and I wouldn't say that that is my favorite. I mean, it's the only one that I've watched, so it probably has to be my favorite. But it, Twilight, yeah, Twilight's in a league of its own, isn't it? Mine is What We Do in the Shadows, very different vibe. Awesome. Mine is Near Dark, another very American Gothic with different vampires. I might have to let me just take a picture of these comments so that I can check out some of these because I would be interested in watching these. Sorry, I was just taking a picture on my phone. Duncan Egg being delayed until next year means to me it's likely House of the Dragon season 3 will be delayed until 2027, since I doubt they'd release both in the same year. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think that's what I'm taking from that is that they will push House of the Dragon back as well. Either that or we've just got a very, very heavy A Song of Ice and Fire year, which I wouldn't be complaining at. Obviously, it would be great to have both in the same year, but I do think that pushing Duncan Egg back means they are going to push House of the Dragon back as well, unless they're like two completely different teams. So one being pushed back doesn't affect the other one, but they are both HBO, aren't they? And I think it's more of like a HBO thing rather than like a Duncan Egg thing. So yeah, I agree with you. I think that they're both going to be pushed back, but House of the Dragons just hasn't been announced yet that they're going to push it back. But yeah. Anyways, I will wrap this live stream up soon. Oh, hello, Stanis Baratheon. Nice to see you. You've just joined us when we're about to conclude, but I hope you're having a good Saturday. How are you doing? How's your Saturday treating you? Thanks for popping in to say hi. And also, thank you so much, everybody, for bearing with me with the technical difficulties. I'm going to blame my headphones. The brand that I'm going to blame in particular is a type of fruit, because why did they just stop working all of a sudden when my Bluetooth was on? There's no reason for it. They were just freaking out. They were just having a meltdown like I do on a daily basis. They've learnt from me. Mine is Vampire 1998 starring Thomas Griffith. This is awesome. Thank you very much for sharing your favourite vampire movies, guys. I clearly need some good ones because I can't go to the end of my life and having only watched Twilight as my favourite vampire movie. Come on, I need some better ones. I love vampire movies. Well, I can't say that because I've only watched Twilight, but I think I would love vampire movies. I love vampire books. I love Dracula. I don't know if any of you guys remember me saying in a video that I did months ago, so you probably don't because it was ages ago. But I reread Dracula every October because it's my perfect October book. I absolutely love Dracula. I've read it many, many times. I'm fine. Finished battles, exams. Thank goodness you finished. I don't envy you there. Exams are brutal. How did they go? I hope they went okay. Give yourself a pat on the back. You got through it. Yeah, traumatic time of your life going through exams, that is for sure. You are back from the dead, Stannis. It's the real Stannis Baratheon. I'm very surprised you managed to get that username, actually. How did you get that username without anybody else taking it. That's great. Roose maybe vampire. Yeah, we've had the Roose Bolton vampire theory today. I'm telling you, he's in this book. There's inspiration for him in this book. Stannis Baratheon, have you read Fever Dream? It is quite funny saying Stannis Baratheon. Must have been the first of his name. Actually, what do you guys think to the guy who plays Stannis in Game of Thrones? Stud or what? But also, the guy's an incredible actor, and that's what we care about. He wasn't actually who I initially imagined to be Stannis. When I first read the books, I pictured Stannis very, very differently. Only a few pages, I remember Abner Marsh. Awesome. Hopefully, you have popped into the live stream at the point where we have gone past spoiling the ending, because we did spoil the ending earlier, but I don't think you were present for that, so that's great. But yeah, I think we can all agree Abner Marsh is a very unique, cool guy, without spoiling anything else for you. Stephen Delane, something like that, beautiful soul. I think that is his name. I think that is his name. Stephen. Okay, well, I spelled that incredibly wrong. Yes, that is him, and he is a beautiful, beautiful man. He said, I had no idea what the role was about the role. I often wonder this. Do you reckon the actors had read A Song of Ice and Fire before fulfilling their role? Like, do you think it was a requirement for them to read the books first, or do you think they could just do it? Because how would they be able to, like, truly know the character if they hadn't read the books? But can you force someone to read a whole, like, I mean, how many pages would the entire series be? Like 10,000 pages? Yeah, Stephen, that's how I imagine Stannis. Exactly him. Yeah, and you are Stannis, so we would have to take your word for it. Most had not read the books. That is interesting. That is very, very interesting. Yeah, because obviously it would take a lot of time, like, to get every single actor to read the whole series. Like, I know it's not finished, but it is still a long series thus far. But how would they, like, truly embody the characters if they hadn't, like, read their inner monologues? That's really interesting. I mean, the majority of them so far have done a brilliant job, so that takes a lot of skill to do that about characters that you've not, like, read the source material for, but that is really interesting. You didn't. How did you imagine him? How did I imagine him? See, in my head, no matter how many times it said that he wasn't an old man, because he's not old in the grand scheme of things, I always pictured a really old man. I don't know why. Like an attractive old man. Weirdly, in my head, if you can picture the actor for Robert Baratheon, but not a drunkard, and maybe a bit more of muscular build, that's kind of how I imagine Stannis. Weird, right? He said Liam encouraged him. That's cool. I think I heard Sean Bean had zero knowledge of his character or the story lore, just played the role and dipped. Some actors are like that. That is crazy. In an interview with George R. R. Martin, the actors admitted to not having read the books. Arya and Sansa didn't read it too. Sean Bean has read the books on set. Where? I think quite a few said they read their own characters' chapters, but that was it. Wow. Oh, Tidakuni's just made a very, very valid point. I'm glad Arya didn't read it. She was 8 or something. Here, read this, kid. Yeah. Imagine getting an 8-year-old to read all of this. You make a very valid point. But for the rest of them, I'm intrigued. Like, that's really interesting. All the characters are older in the show. Yeah. Oh, so Stannis is even younger than the actor. But like I said, like, no matter how many times in the book it said that he was young or young-ish, I always pictured an old man. Like, my brain just would not let me, like, picture Stannis as anything other than, like, older. Lena Headley's mother read the book and would tell her daughter about Cersei. How would you even begin to describe Cersei to someone? Yeah, Liam reminded Stephen about everything, the whole plot. Oh my goodness, this is, like, crazy information. Wow. I mean, they've done a brilliant job, like, considering they've not even read the books and they've, like, played the characters so well. Obviously, their acting ability is brilliant. But that is crazy. Liam Nelson said Davos has read the books and he is such a geek about it. That feels so like consistent with Davos. Like I feel like he plays Davos perfectly. He is very, very similar to who I pictured Davos to be when I was reading the books. Yeah, he's absolutely incredible. The Stannis actor is 50 plus, and the book Stannis is 36 or something. Yeah. See, like in my head, I never pictured a 36-year-old playing Stannis, no matter how many times it would say it. Oh, Liam Cunningham. Okay. Yeah, I'm really bad with the actors' names, but I did know who you meant because you'd put Sarah Davos in brackets. Amazing actor and man. Yeah. Can't you tell, by the way, when I'm watching the show Stannis and Davos chemistry tells that? Yeah. Oh, they honestly, Davos, like the real life man and the book character, they just seem like perfect people, in my opinion. Um, Anyways, guys, I'm thinking of wrapping this up. I always like to yabble on and on and on. How would you guys like to end this live stream? Do you have any final thoughts on Fever Dream? I'm pretty sure I asked you that about 15 minutes ago and then we continued to talk, but that's fine. I love these live streams. But yeah, any final thoughts on Fever Dream? Or in general, and then I'll let you be for your Saturday for another month. By the way, if you want to join the book club next month, the book club will be on the Sunday, not the Saturday, which I think Benjamin said was actually better for them anyway, so that's great. But yeah, unfortunately, I do try to keep it to the last Saturday of every month, but I double booked myself next month, unfortunately, and I can't change the plans. I'm sorry. Hopefully that doesn't affect things for people. So that will be on the 27th of July. Next month's book has big shoes to fill. It does. And we are reading Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This is my little tiny TBR shelf for the month. So every time I want to read books for the month, I put them on this shelf. Did you finish the book? I did finish the book. Absolutely loved it. I'd highly recommend that you finish the book because I think we can all agree it was great. It was brilliant writing, brilliant plots, takes you on an emotional roller coaster. There's some very not easy parts to read, just because of the discomfort that they cause. But yeah, I would encourage you to read it if you liked it so far. Can you do a video about how characters were described in A Song of Ice and Fire versus the show where they accurately casted? Yeah, absolutely. I want to do that probably once I've finished the TV reactions for when like the books start to end. So probably like maybe the end of season 4 or end of season 5 when it starts to feel very drastically different to the books, which I am expecting. Yeah, I think I will do it around that point. So maybe a few months' time, if you can wait that long. I'm younger than your channel, feeling old. Yeah, honestly, I felt old since my birthday last month. I feel old every day of my life when my back creaks as I try to get out of bed. How old is my channel? My channel is quite old, isn't it? I've had my channel for ages. I wonder if it'll say if I go on to my thing. Because obviously I've only recently started doing videos, but it doesn't say. Oh, it's trying to make me join my own live stream. Like, I'm the one who's live. Why would I watch it as a viewer? How can I join? Why is it trying to advertise my own live stream to me? Nice Norse fantasy read next. Yeah, I'm really excited for that. I don't think I've read a Norse fantasy, so I'm excited to see what that is like. Try Georgian, country Georgian, not state literature someday. Ooh, that sounds very interesting. Thank you for the recommendation. That would be really cool. It was created in 2010. Thank you for clarifying that. 2010, 15, was that 15 years ago? Yeah, 15 years ago. Wow, so you're younger than my channel age. Yeah, YouTube's been around for a while. I've been watching YouTube videos for a long time. That does make me feel old. Older than I already did, so thank you. I'm joking. I'm Georgian and my literature is awesome. Not a biased opinion there at all then. It was a lovely evening spent with you, Your Grace. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. This has been so lovely. I always feel very fulfilled after these live streams. Georgian food is amazing. God, I need to check out this Georgian literature. I know nothing about it, and I would like that to change. Turkish. Persian literature. Awesome. You know what? Guys, I'm taking a picture. I'm going to take a picture of it. Have a nice evening, you too, Smilesy. Thank you so much for joining. And thank you, everybody, for bearing with me despite the technical difficulties. I really appreciate that you all came back. This is such a lovely community on here, and I have the best time doing these live streams. You've made my Saturday very, very fun. And I hope that you've all enjoyed it too. Have a lovely evening, all. Stay groovy. Yeah, stay groovy, Tidcooney. That almost rhymes in some weird way. Bye. Bye, Benjamin. Bye, excellent carrot cake. Have a lovely weekend yourself. Stanis says, I can recommend The Night in the Panther's Skin. Thank you very much. Let me take a picture of that as well. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. This has been a lot of fun. Take care. I'll catch you soon. Yeah, and have a good rest of your weekend. Bye for now.